Hey guys, it's Grace, and today I am in a completely different spot from where I usually am. So if you guys don't know, I moved into college that last week. You guys saw my move-in vlog that was kind of a flop. Sorry about that. But yeah, it was a little rough to try to film during the day because we had a lot of stuff in our room and my parents were taking back the boxes of mine and my roommate's parents were taking back her boxes, so we just wanted to get everything out of here, so it was a little difficult to try and film during that, so I apologize for that. But I am in my dorm room and I'm going to be trying out different spots in my dorm room to film in. So I don't know if I really like this spot. The lighting is a little weird in the background, but there's this giant window, so we'll see. My fridge is over here and stuff like that, but I will be doing a dorm tour very, very soon. My roommate went away for the weekend, so she just has to come back because it's still a little messy, so I have to talk to her about whether or not she wants her side shown and stuff like that. But anyways, I'm going to get into this video, which is actually a Diva Cup review. So basically what inspired me to do this video was Megan Hughes here on YouTube, who is a beauty guru, vlogger. She does a lot of body positive videos and advice videos and stuff like that, and she's just hilarious. I think she's great. But she did a review of this and it actually inspired me to start using it again. So basically what the Diva Cup is, if you do not know, is a menstrual cup, which is this little silicone cup thing that you use instead of tampons. So I have mine here. It has been cleaned, but this is what it looks like. It's very small and you can squish it and everything like that. And it comes in this little bag. So basically the cost of the Diva Cup is $35, I think $25 to $35 depending on whether or not you buy the wash with it, which I would recommend because you're only supposed to clean this with unscented non-antibacterial soap or the Diva wash. And it was very, very difficult for me to find that kind of soap, so I definitely recommend that. And you can also at the end of each cycle boil them in hot water and that will sterilize them. So basically I have been using the Diva Cup pretty much alone for the last 3 months. I do have tampons and pads handy because sometimes I have issues with it, but I'll get into that later. So during the first month, I just totally just wrote down exactly what I thought during each month and what I experienced with it. So I'm just gonna kind of go through that and explain to you guys how my experience went with the Diva Cup. It was very hard to put in at first. I had tried it before and then I didn't really like it because it was difficult for me to get out. But it takes some getting used to get in. It's weird at first if you've been using tampons your whole life, and it's even weirder if you have never used a tampon and you've only used pads. It took 2 tries to get it in, which was actually a miracle. And then there was a little bit of leakage during the first day, but I think that was because it was either not in right or I left it in for too long. That's mostly the reason for the leakage with the Diva Cup, is leaving it in too long because you don't know how much it fills up, or not putting it in correctly. So this little thing actually holds a lot of blood, but and you don't bleed actually that much. I think you bleed maybe an ounce to 2 ounces, and this holds up to a half of an ounce before it starts to get a little too full. But just being in tune with your body and testing it out a few times and seeing how long you can go with this thing in before it starts to leak is a good thing to do, so you know, because some of us have lighter flows, some of us have heavier flows, so that could be a reason why it's leaking. If it starts leaking, don't just push it off aside and give up. Just keep trying and work with it a little bit. Another benefit of this though is that you can leave it in for 12 hours. Normally you're not supposed to leave in a tampon for more than 8 hours because you can get you're at risk for toxic shock syndrome. So that's very nice about that. You don't have to change it as much, and you can leave it in for a decent amount of time depending on how heavy your flow is. So another great thing about this for me during the first month was that I could not feel it at all. Normally I can feel tampons and they like give me a little bit more of cramps because I am someone who had terrible cramps before I went on birth control. So I still get like discomfort and stuff like that, but it's so much less with the Diva Cup In versus a tampon. I don't know why that is. I don't know how that works, but it probably has something to do with like the pressure and the way it goes in there, but I have no idea. But it just relieves a lot of like the uncomfortable feeling and like the cramps and stuff like that. The only weird thing is the little tab on here. It does like stick out a little bit at first, so it does feel a little weird at first, but I would not recommend cutting this until you have used this for quite a few months, because you need it to pull it out, and I'll get into that later. So I don't know if anyone else has this feeling. It's kind of gross, kind of weird, but like when you pee with a tampon in, it almost is like harder to pee. I don't know why, but I think it's like the way the pressure is in your body with the tampon. But it's a lot easier to do that with the Diva Cup. There's not as much pressure. Yes, there is some pressure still in there, but it's a lot easier to do that. Kind of gross, but like when you go to the bathroom and you use your Kegels, like it's going to move. So if you pee or if you poop or anything like that, it's going to adjust itself a little bit. So I would recommend, if you're going to dump it out, to do so when you have to go to the bathroom, because it will make it easier to move down, and that's how you get it out. You have to use your Kegels. Again, like I just said, like if you bear down, which is what the movement you're making, it will come down eventually. It's kind of a little scary at first because you think like, where the hell did it go up there? Like it's just gonna get stuck up there. But if you bear down, it will eventually move down. It just might take a second. So for me, I changed it right before I went to bed, and then I spent the whole night with just that in, and a pad as well, because I wanted to make sure there was no leakage. And there was minor leakage, but I believe that was because I went pretty much 12 hours with it in. It was also my first night, so that means that it's the heaviest. So that's probably why it was overflowing. And the second night I had 0 leakage, so that was really nice. I did a bunch of like sport things, testing it out while I was using it the next few months, and so I hiked and took pictures, and there was no leakage there. And then the second night though, it was really hard to remove in the morning, and I had gone the 12 hours, and I think it was because, I don't even know. I think it's just because I slept on it, and like it takes a little bit to come back down, but I freaked out, okay? So you're going to have this moment at some point using a menstrual cup where you have this panic of like, it's never going to come out of my vagina. It's suctioned in there, like it's not gonna come out. You have those thoughts, and you just need to like stay very calm and just wait. So I tried to remove it, and then it wouldn't come out, and I waited 20 minutes, and then I tried again, and I finally was able to get it out. But the key, honestly, is to relax. Just relax. So I've also found in the next month, July, I found that basically nails are essential when using the Diva Cup. So if you have longer nails like me, or even have just like some sort of nail, that's essential in taking it out, because you can really like grip it. So the problem with just grasping it with your fingers is that obviously it's going to be slippery, like your body, that's how it works. So it's hard to just grab this because it tends to slip out, especially when you're trying to reach in there. So having nails is really essential because it has like 2 little grippy lines, so you can just pull it out that way and then pinch. So basically, to take it out, what you have to do is you have to pull it down far enough where you can reach the base, then you reach the base up in and you break the seal, and then once you break the seal, you can pull it out. You need to break the seal first, because otherwise you're just like pulling this entire thing out of your vagina, and it's painful because I've done it before. But it's really just trial and error and just using it as many times as you can. You do have to be careful putting it in though, because you have to make sure that you rotate it 360 degrees. If you do not rotate it 360 degrees, that's when you're going to have problems, because it has to form that seal, which means that it will move slightly up and down a little bit, but it won't go too far in. If you don't do that, you have risk of it going very, very far up and suctioning too far up, and then you might not be able to get it down. It doesn't happen very often, but you just really need to make sure that you have rotated it enough. Second month wearing it, I went running and there was minor leakage. Also may have been because I hadn't emptied it. Swimming also leaked a little bit, but I do believe that was caused because it was overflowing, because I went swimming again with it later and it was completely fine. It didn't leak at all. I also went tubing, so that's like you're being jostled around and stuff like that, and I was actually thrown off of the tube, so I fell off and there was no leakage there. Again, first night wearing that, there was no leakage, but I only went 8 hours. And then the second night I went 10 hours and there was minor leakage. So it really depends. You kind of have to gauge it, test it out a few times, and you can see that. And then I went biking and it was a little bit weird biking, because like that felt kind of weird, but there was no leakage at all. So then this last month I had it as well, and I used it right before I left for college actually, which I will talk about later. But I danced for 5 hours straight and there was no leakage at all. You can shower with it. I wouldn't really recommend it because like you need to clean your body, so you should probably take that out, but you can shower with it in and it has no problems. The first night 10 hours, no leakage at all, and the second night 8-ish hours, again no leakage. So the one thing I would like to say is that the last day of my period was the day that I moved in, so that was interesting, like having to take that out. And just for college it's gonna be a little bit different. So I'm used to being able to just like take it out. Literally the sink is right across from my toilet in my bathroom, and I can just literally sit on the toilet and wash it out in the sink and then put it back in really, really fast. Cannot do that in college because I have a communal bathroom, so it's a little awkward to like be in the stall, take it out, and take my cup of blood to the sink and dump it out. Like that's a little weird. So basically what I did was I went to the bathroom if I needed to change it during the day, and I just dumped it in the toilet, wiped it out with toilet paper, put it back in, and then what I ended up doing, which is like, I feel like this is kind of gross but also not really that gross, like whatever, I ended up like taking it out when I took a shower and cleaning it then, and it was a lot easier and a lot less awkward, and so that worked pretty well, and I think that will work decently well in the future. I'd have to like test that out and see how it goes and whether I like it or not, but I do have backup pads and tampons just in case, because also if your flow is a little lighter, you're not really supposed to use this towards the end of your period. So if you get like, I don't know, if it gets a little bit lighter where you will need to have to change like once a day, then you're not really supposed to use this, because it could, you know, gravity wouldn't pull it down if there wasn't a lot of blood in it. So anyways, this was kind of a rambly video, but this is just my experience with the Diva Cup. Overall, I really like it, and I would suggest it for anyone who is trying to be environmentally conscious. We use up a lot of paper and waste when we use tampons and pads, and they're just really ridiculously expensive. Like, this isn't honestly that bad for something reusable, and you can use it for, I believe, up to 2 years, something like that, unless it gets gross beforehand, but you should be able to use it for quite a long time, and it's really been worth the investment for me. Alright, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you did, and subscribe down below for more. If you'd like to check out my previous video, it is on this side of the screen, and my previous vlog is on this side of the screen. I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you're having a fabulous day, and yeah, bye.